Okay then. So next step for this is going to be to bake an ambient occlusion map that we're going to use later on in the project. Now there are a few ways, as I show you a few days back, to accomplish this, um, and there's probably the most easiest way to do it is do it directly here in Maya. And Maya has already built-in tools that you can use to create the ambient occlusion map. So I'm going to go briefly over that, and this is going to be one of the segments that we're going to be going. You don't have to go through this. There are other ways to do it, and if you use X normals, it would be much faster because I'm using an actual render engine. It will be a little bit longer, but basically the procedure is basically the same. So what I want to do is first I want to create a new material. This is a temporary material. I'm going to go to Arnold and I'm going to create an ambient occlusion. And the only thing I'm going to change here is going to be the samples, which is going to be a value of 6. Now, under Arnold, there is, if you go to Utilities, there is, let me select first the geometry. If you go to Arnold, Utilities, and it says Render Selection to Texture. So I'm going to click on that. I already have, uh, I already selected where I want it. I want to change the value in resolution to 4096, and I'm going to leave this I'm going to leave this as it is. I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to go render. Now, this particular way of baking a texture takes a little bit of time. I will say probably 3 or 4 minutes. Now, as I mentioned before, there are other ways you can do this. X normal being one of them. One of the, let me go to X normal. X normal. So this is one of the apps that you can use to bake your ambient occlusion. Besides ambient occlusion, it actually does all the things. So it has a few nice features that you can use for this one. And there are others that you can use as well. There are a number of companies that actually sell the software just to do this kind of baking. The one that I'm using is called, the other one that I'm going to show you shortly is called Mighty Bake. So I'm going to go to that one, Mighty Bake. And this is basically the same program or the same software. And the only purpose and reason for this is to create textures that are used on a game engine. And mostly these are used on Substance Painter. Now, because of the kind of textures that we are creating, we're basically creating the most simple workflow to get the results that we want. Now, each engine has its own features and its own ways of doing things. So keep that in mind because the viewport on each one changes. And programs like this have the ability to you can even specify how to do this in other software. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna wait until this is render and it's going. It's gonna be about 3 or 4 minutes for frame. And I don't have the fastest computer, but basically this is one way you can approach. We're gonna go this way and doing on the software side, and we're gonna do the Mighty Bake as well. And we're gonna actually compare how they look. Oh, and there's this other one called PixPlant. This is another software where you can do sort of the same thing. It's very basic. It doesn't do a good job, but it could help in certain situations if you don't have the software to, like Maya, for example, or you don't have this Mighty Bake to do it. So, like I said, there are a number of choices that you have, and they're available um, both for Macs and for PCs. Um, so I'm just waiting now for this thing to render. And as soon as it's done, I'll be back. Just reading my text messages, so that's why you hear me talk a little bit there. I'm still waiting for this. So this is one of the disadvantages of having to render this on the CPU, that it takes longer. Now there's software that uses your video card, and those are real time. And by the way, almost every software that is out in the market, they do have the ability to create these textures the way I'm doing it. Maya just happened to have Arnold install it, and that's all it is. Okay, so this is done. As I mentioned before, it was just a temporary shader, so I'm gonna undo. I'm gonna do Control Z or Command Z a few times until I have my initial texture, the one that we created, the PBR shader that we're using for our work. So, and basically I'm almost done with this. I'm going to create two versions of this model. By the way, Mighty Bake creates a shell for me in order for me to use it. If you click on the Maya, and it will install a shell for me. So basically that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to export. Ignore everything except these two ones that you see here. I'm going to export the low version first. I already did that, but I added that bevel and I clean up a little bit. So I'm just going to take, I'm going to bake this again, because after I baked, I realized there were faces that were not visible and for this. So I'm just going to go to, let me make sure that I have low. I'm going to go to bake. I'm going to override the one that I already made. And the software is going to export a file that is compatible with basically creates, it subdivides and tessellates the geometry in a way that the geometries look gonna bake better on the software. I mean, on the application that I'm going to use to create the baking. I really don't know what it's going on, but it does make a difference when you actually export using this. So I'm going to do now the high version. Okay, still exporting. And again, for some reason, even it says low, it takes much longer than the high resolution. And you're gonna see that in just a bit. Okay, so I have now, I'm gonna go to high. And this is pretty typical when you work on baking things. You will often have a high resolution model, and then you want to bake that information into the low resolution model. Okay, so I am basically done in Maya. I don't have anything else to do here. I'm gonna show you now how to bake this information in this software. Okay, so let me close this. I'm going to input the high polymesh that I just made. I'm going to go to the folder where I created this. Let's see. I think this is the folder. Okay, so I'm going to load the high geometry, and then I'm going to load the same. I'm going to put this temporarily on my desktop, because we're going to compare in just a bit the two versions that I am doing. So I'm going to create this model is CD 5367, and then I'm going to just put ambient occlusion. AO means ambient occlusion. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I don't want to create a normal map. I'm going to create an ambient occlusion map. I'm going to do a quick test to see how this looks. So I'm going to change this to 1024, 1024 width and height. I'm going to change the spread of this to about 120. I'm going to leave this up low because I just want to see how this is going to look. Search method is going to be closest and direction surface normal. So this is pretty standard in all the software that you use. So I'm going to do a bake, and it's done. So this is the way it looks on this software. As you can see, the quality is not great, so but I'm kind of happy the way it's looking. And again, the purpose of the ambient occlusion is to create a fake shadow. That is the only purpose. Okay, I'm going to change the resolution. I'm going to go a bit higher on this. I'm going to see how this looks. I'm seeing a little bit of noise on it. As you can see, there is just it's not looking that good. I'm going to go and change the resolution to 4K, and this is the default or standard resolution that we're using. I'm going to bake it, and let's see how this looks at this resolution. So still I'm seeing a little bit of noise here, so I may end up using just the one I made in Maya, the one that Arnold made. So let's see how this goes. And I want to load both of them so you can actually see and compare each one of them. And because of the way that this particular company makes this, it may look a little bit different than the other one, but the result is pretty much the same. So I'm just going to wait a little bit for this to finish rendering, and then I'm going to compare the two images. So as you can see, I'm using the CPU to bake this texture. And because I have an older computer, that's the only choice. And because I'm in a Mac and I don't have a decent video card, I have to rely on the CPUs to do the rendering. Of course, nowadays, the GeForce RTX video cards and the GeForce 10 60, 1070 or 1080, they pretty much do this at real time now. So that is one of the benefits of having one of those video cards on the PC. A lot of these things that I'm doing because of the speed and power that the video cards have, they do make a difference on the time. So as you can see, I'm having to wait quite a bit of time actually, because it has to render. Okay, I'm seeing something here that I'm not liking. I'm looking at this portion of the sink, and I know this is not going to look good. It's just, I'm already seeing in my mind the texture, and this particular one is not going to work out. So it has to be a little bit smoother. Probably it's because of the angle that I'm doing the baking at. So, but anyway, I'm just gonna let it go. There's a good chance I'm gonna end up still using the other one for this. And it's gonna be done in just a few more seconds. And it's done. So I have the updated version. Oh, okay, I was wrong. Actually, it looks pretty good, except that part in here. It has to do with the way I bake this, the spread. So I'm probably gonna have to put it a little bit higher for that particular one. So, but in any case, let's do the following. I'm going to compare this version that it was made by this software with the one that was made by Arnold. So I'm going to go and find that one out. And let's see, lowest projects. Nope, that's done. This is the one I'm working on it. Okay, so I'm gonna put a white background, edit, fill, and it's gonna put white. Okay, so that is what that one made. Let's see how compares to the one that Arnold made here. So I'm gonna load it. Okay. And I'm going just to tile them up so you can see both of them. Basically, this one creates the alpha channel, but overall it looks, the Arnold version looks much better. If you actually look at this, look at the screws here. I mean, that definitely, it's gonna work better than this one. And also I am looking at the actual sink here. So I'm going to use this texture as part of the diffuse map, so I can see that this one is going to look better than the other one. So overall, basically, the one that Arnold made is just better quality. In regards to time, they seem to take about the same time to render. So I could go with either one. In this case, I'm just going to go with the one that Arnold made because I think it's going to look better. So I'm going to create a version that I can import into Painter. So I'm just going to, oh, by the way, this is 32-bit. So you have to change that we have to go to a 16-bit, okay? Because the way that Substance Painter works is a 16-bit, and I'm just going to convert it to that, and I'm going to just go to let's see, which one is the option? Oh, sorry, it's here. Exposure and gamma. So basically, because it's a 32-bit image, it has more information, and I want to basically stay the same, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. I want to save this as a PNG, and it's going to be this is the let's see, this is the CD 5367. I'm going to name as that. Let's see, CD 5367, and I'm just going to name it Ambient Occlusion, AO. And PNGs can be saved on 16-bit format, so it tells you right here. So it says 16, so basically that is the resolution, and it's also 4096 by 4096. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording. There's going to be another recording, and we're going to be doing next when I move to Substance Painter.